I know, but
the key is getting people to be able to either register a new electronic signature and have that be a valid signature. We could also use technology that exists on an iPad. You could actually sign an initiative using your signature online if it were allowed by the legislature, and then that signature verified the same way that signature is verified as a wet signature on a ballot petition that you sign in the grocery store and mail back to us. All it would take is a simple legislative change, and actually all those signatures are validated now by the registrar voter when you turn in the petition. So you could do the exact same system now, only instead of it having to be a wet signature, it would simply be something you sign on your iPad or on your smartphone.
So I'll be the devil's advocate. The cost of the software, the cost of the new computers, the hard drives, et cetera, doesn't that make this all?
I don't think there's any cost. We all have touchscreen technology.
Yeah, but as far as up in Sacramento.
I think Sacramento computer systems are an insane thing, but it could be delivered to, first of all, it's local county registrars in a form that looks very much like the petition now. Because if we were allowed just sign on our iPad, we'd be able to collect online the signatures, print them out on a printer, turn them in. It'd be like a photocopy. There's no difference between a pen and a photocopy, especially if you can verify the signature. So I don't think there's any technological or cost hurdles. I think there's a hurdle of will. The legislature doesn't want people legislating laws because they want to be legislating laws. We might not need the legislature full-time if we could do it ourselves. There is an initiative, of course, for a part-time legislature. I'm sure they do not want that one to qualify.
That's right. So the mailing is going out now. Some of our viewers may already have it.
Yeah, it's hitting LA County as we speak. There are literally hundreds of thousands going out to LA County, Orange County, San Francisco. We're seeing if it works. If people get this in the mail and mail it back, if we get a high enough response rate, we're going to do millions across the state.
And the deadline for signatures is?
May 1st, but if you get this in the mail, you really got to turn it back in the next week because we're seeing how well this works before we go out with a statewide mailing to all the registered voters.
Okay, gotcha on that. Now, let's just, because we only have about 2 minutes left, and we'll take a look up here. This is the site that so many people are familiar with, that austere page with the word Google on it. All of us, every time I Google, well, not this time, but so often when I Google up nowadays, I see something about our new policy, our new privacy policy.
Yeah, the new privacy policy is, they change it overnight, first of all, which is why it's not a great privacy policy. It used to be that if you were a Gmail user or you did searches, they would store your data, but they wouldn't combine the data across different, they wouldn't look at your YouTube, they wouldn't combine what they know about what you watch on YouTube with what's said in your Gmails, you know, the words in your Gmail, with what you're searching for to market you. All of a sudden they decided we're going to do it. We think it violates privacy pledges they've made to the Federal Trade Commission in conjunction with a consent decree to not do this. And there's actually been a lawsuit filed by a group called EPIC in Washington, D.C. over this to get the FTC to change this privacy policy. Also, Google's changed its search terms. It used to have a search policy where it said we're not going to rig the results to steer people to Google products like Google+. Well, if you go to something called FocusOnTheUser.com, which was created by Twitter and Facebook competitors, it shows that in this new Search the World Plus search system that if you have a Google account, you default into, it actually puts Google results first, Google Plus, Google services, even though by Google's own algorithm, the search results that should come forward is a Facebook site or a Twitter site or some other site. It's steering people to its products, to its world. It doesn't want you to find what's in the world. It wants you to find what's in Google's world. This is what's dangerous when a company has, more than 70% of the search market, and it's going to steer people. And that's why we've been actually looking at Google as a real antitrust problem. Its hidden hand is all over the internet, and we've really got to look carefully at how it treats us, our privacy, but more importantly, how it's controlling what we see on the internet, what we use on the internet. People think it's free. It's not free. When you use Google, you give up your data. You give up your personal information. And people really should think carefully about deleting their Google accounts, which is probably a good idea.
And you give up your privacy.
You give up.
Every time I click on something, no matter what it is,
you just even if you
Google knows.
Yeah, well, and Facebook knows too. Now, let's be fair. I mean, it's Facebook, it's Google, but what the difference is with Google and Facebook is you're logging on to Facebook and it knows too much about you. It owns your photos.
Sure.
But you don't need Facebook to use the internet. You cannot have a Facebook account and participate online. You cannot avoid Google. You might not use its search engine. You might not use Gmail, but when you cruise site to site, Google Analytics follows you. Its AdSense program markets you, traps you with cookies. Google is everywhere, and that's why we really have to look at making sure that it respects our privacy. All we want is one thing, a do not track online button. We should have a button right next to Google that says, do not track me online. The government should give us that button because Google's not going to do it voluntarily.
And it knows you by name?
No, it knows your computer.
Knows your computer, okay.
And probably connects that with your email. And if you have a Google account, connects that with the other information. And then, Google, it's not like Google's selling this to people, but what Google's doing is saying to advertisers, I'm going to connect you with people of this profile, and then you get marketed in inappropriate ways, and sometimes your data gets out because there's a subpoena or other information you wouldn't want known is stored somewhere that it shouldn't be stored.
So we'll try and have him back again to talk about some of this stuff. We need to take one more break. Stand by. All right, Jamie Court is our guest today, president of Consumer Watchdog. You can find out about all the things that Consumer Watchdog is doing at www.consumerwatchdog.org. And JustifyRates, the petition to put the healthcare controls, healthcare rate controls.
Rate Justification Act on the
ballot. There you
are.
are. Yeah. www.justifyrates.org. We have about 30 seconds left. And if we can go to the screen up here, and how about if I type consumer
Watchdog, let's see if it comes up.
Look, there it is. It's already there. It knows what I'm looking for.
That's true.
And this is dangerous.
Well, it's not dangerous that you find us, but it's dangerous storing your association with us on some database somewhere, because it may not be your association with Consumer Watchdog that you're typing with. It may be a cancer drug. It may be, and there's information somewhere about what you're looking for that may, if it's subpoenaed, if your employer has access to it, it may be a big problem for you.
You're never a problem for us. It's always a pleasure to have you with us, Jamie. We'll see you again soon, yeah?
I sure hope so.
Okay, and we'll see you next week. See you then.